and welcome to another Halloween themed video. Today I'm going to be making a present style card. So I'm just folding my card base and applying the first stamp from the Avery Elle Beautiful Bow stamp set. So I'm stamping this down using Onyx black ink. This is the VersaFine ink. It's a pigment ink, so it does take a little bit longer to dry, but that's really useful because I'm going to be applying some clear embossing powder. If you can hear some crackling in the background, that is probably my fire. I'm doing the voiceover in my kitchen today, and I've got the fire going because it's pretty cold. We're getting into that sort of autumn weather, so it's getting a bit chillier over here in England. And if you hear another noise, that is my crazy dog who is on his way into the kitchen now. Okay, so I used a mask to stamp the second part of that bow, and I'm just applying some clear embossing powder by Simon Says Stamp, and I'm going to heat set that. So that'll just help with the masking. So I'm going to colour this panel in using ink blending. And just in case you're wondering why I had this as a card base and then cut it apart, it's because I realised I'd stamped my bow upside down. So not a problem, I just cut it apart, and I'll use this as a front panel, and I'll use the other half of that card as a front panel on another card, so nothing will go to waste. Okay, so I'm using my ink blending tool now to add some colour. I'm going to make a Halloween themed gift, so I've sort of got the Nightmare Before Christmas in mind here, with the Christmas presents, the Halloween creatures, citizens of Halloween Town, I don't know, that the guys try and make. So the colours that I'm using are Carved Pumpkin and Spiced Marmalade. I think I incorrectly called the Carved Pumpkin Distress Ink colour Spiced Pumpkin in one of my previous videos, so sorry about that. And I'm just working my way through from the edge using some post-it tape as a mask to just colour in all of that background. I could have just stamped this onto an orange piece of cardstock. That would definitely save a little bit of time, and then you would just stamp the bow onto some white cardstock or purple cardstock, as I'm going to colour that in purple later on, and then cut it out and stick it on top. But I wanted to keep this, well, the idea was to keep it as a one-layer card, but as you saw I ended up cutting my card apart, and I'll be using this as a front panel. So once I've got all that colour in place, and I'm just remembering that any of those areas where the black ink is, I've got clear embossing powder there, so I don't have to be too careful about masking off those edges because the ink will glide off the top of that plasticky embossing powder. So I can just wipe that away with a baby wipe when I'm finished. So once I've worked my way through and coloured all of the different areas on this card in orange, I am going to go ahead and apply some water droplets, and I'll use my Distress sprayer to do that. So one of the reasons that Distress ink is so great is that it reactivates with water. So you can apply water droplets over the top, let them sit for a couple of minutes, and then just mop them up with a paper towel, and you end up with a really cool distressed effect on the background, which definitely fits in with this Halloween theme. Okay, so I've worked my way around with the orange ink, and now I'm going to colour in the bow section using, I believe it's Wilted Violet that I've got here, and I'm going to come in with some Dusty Concord Distress ink as well. So for this ink, I'm just using a mini finger dauber. I could have used a mini ink blending tool because of that masking, but I just decided to use the dauber as I didn't have an ink blending tool that I had allocated, or rather a foam piece that I had allocated to this colour yet. So I tried to keep one of those foam pieces tucked on the underneath of each of my distress inks, and I can then just change them over and attach them to the blending tool itself. So now I'm going to go ahead and stamp the tag. This tag is from the same stamp set by Avery Elle, and I'm just using those same purple inks just to colour that in, and then I'll go ahead and cut that out once it's all coloured. So you'll notice that I'm tapping off the mini finger dauber on the excess paper around the outside before I bring it onto the tag. That's just to make sure I don't have any harsh lines. So I applied some water to this, let it sit for a minute, and then mopped it up, and now I'm going to fussy cut that out. And once I've finished with the fussy cutting, Just to make sure I've got a really nice clean edge, I will take a black marker pen and just draw around the edges there. So I took a look at my stamps and I didn't have a trick or treat or an alphabet stamp that I thought fitted perfectly, so I decided just to take a Jelly Roll black pen and just to write out trick or treat on this tag. Okay, so now that's finished, I'm going to put the card together. I've applied double-sided sticky tape onto that front panel, and I'm just going to lay that down on top of a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch note card and press that into place. And then I'm going to take the tag that we've just created and put some 3M foam tape, some foam dots on the back, and I'm just deciding where to put that, and then I'll press that down. Okay, so that pretty much finishes the card for today. I'm just going to secure the string for that tag with some multi-matte medium, and that's the card finished. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I do have another Halloween themed card coming up today, so please make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss anything from me, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.